Now we move to our second speaker, Mr. Gulab Sheikh. He is an assistant professor in the Department of English in Nutan College, Salem. Gulab sir, uh, I welcome you.
Hello.
You are part of the group. You are one of the organizers, and he'll be dealing with literary theory. Uh,
Okay.
One thing that I can mention about him is that he has cracked net twice, and he's right now working on his PhD. He's working on an Indian dramatist, Pauly Gupta. He's a scholar from uh, an assistant professor in Nutan College and doing his research from Swami Ramanand Tirth, Marathwada University, Nanded. So I welcome you, sir. Uh,
Thank you.
Please begin with your presentations. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Is that audible very well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There will be
Okay.
some
Yes.
network
Yes.
issues,
Okay.
but
Fine.
you are audible.
No problem, sir. We will cross it, sir. We are very much habitual about all such things. No problem.
Okay.
First of all, good morning to everyone and all the participants, and my sincere thanks to my teacher, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Sami Siddiqui, for providing me such a wonderful opportunity to speak in front of all the participants who are aspiring and desirable to crack the very important exam of our nation, that is NET and SET. He has told me that you are going to speak on the important topic, that is literary theory, which is also one of the integral part of our examination. So I said, sir, no problem. I will try my level best to present in front of the students. So at the outset, let me clear very well that the literary theory is one of the very crucial part of our literature. Most of the times I meet with students that, and they say to me that, sir, we are very well, we are getting good marks in novel, we are getting good marks in drama, we are getting good marks in poetry, we are getting good marks in contemporary literature, but we are a little bit difficult, we are a little bit lack about understanding the literary theory. But it is one of the seminal part of your examination. If you just open out any previous questions, previous examination question papers, you will come to know that the exams on literary theory are always being asked in your question paper. But while preparing for NETSET examination, keep in mind that literary theory, while preparing literary theory, is a different task for you today, because you are not going to apply literary theory to any text. You are not going to analyze literary theory to anything, but at the same time you are trying to search the exact point of literary theory, because the mode of exam is in objective mode. As the exam is in objective mode, you are going to find out the exact detail, the exact data, the exact information from the literary theory, and that is going to be asked in the examination. And absolutely one should look for it very carefully, that if you are preparing for NETSET, you should focus on the exactness of literary theory, rather than is theoretical structure and theoretical analysis. But as a matter of fact, while understanding, while comprehending any literary theory, that which point we should keep in mind while understanding or comprehending literary theory. So let me present my PPT. With the help of that PPT, and I am giving example of Marxism. I am providing you the example of Marxism. With the help of Marxism, I am going to analyze that what are the parameters or what are the significant aspects that you should keep in mind while understanding, while comprehending any literary theory. Can I share my screen, sir? Can I? Okay, okay, just a moment. Yeah. I'm doing. Is it visible, sir? Ajit, sir, it is visible? Just a moment, sir. Yeah. My PPT is on comprehension of literary theory for NETSET and other competitive examinations. The first thing I would like to put in front of you, that what are the types of theories? We usually talks about that this is a theory, that is a theory, things like that. Okay, sir. Most of the time what we say, this is the theory or that is the theory. but we are not yet successful or not yet possible to define what are the basic types of theories. The theories are basically divided into two parts. One is hardcore part and the other one is softcore part. The hardcore part, the theory of hardcore, is usually used in pure sciences, and in pure sciences we have experiments, and in the pure sciences, after the experiments we have testing in hardcore theory, and after the testing we have the application in hardcore theory. On the contrary, there is a softcore theory. In softcore theory, we utilize it or we use it in social sciences or literature that we use in our sector, in our field. In softcore theories, we have ideas. In softcore theory, we get discourse, and as well as we have meanings in our softcore theories. So let me tell you once again, I repeat that the theories are basically divided into two parts. One is hardcore theory and the other one is softcore theory. The hardcore theory, in hardcore theory, we have where we use it in pure sciences. We have experiments in hardcore theory. We have testing and application in hardcore theory. At the same time, we have softcore theory that we use in social sciences and literature. We have ideas in softcore theory. It is discourses and meaning we have in our softcore theories. The next slide is about what are the salient features of literary theory. The next slide is about what are the salient features of literary theory. Literary theory is always subjective. It is plural, it is anti-foundational, it is transmutational and deconstructive. These are some of the prominent features of a literary theory whenever we study, whenever we come across. The next slide is about the salient features of literary theory. And the salient features of literary theory are subjective, plural, anti-foundational, transmutational, deconstructive. These are some of the salient features of literary theory. These are some prominent or basic features of literary theory is that subjective, plural, anti-foundational, transmutational, and deconstructive. Now, every theory has a subjective point, subjective aspects. Literary theory conveys always multiple meanings. It is not a single, it is not a very static or monolithic. Literary theory is always anti-foundational, means if one establish a literary theory, in the next time, in the next generation, you will have the objection, criticism on the theory or new establishment. That is called as anti-foundational. Literary theory is transmutational. It is transferred from one to another. And the last feature is that literary theory is reconstructive. There is nothing constructive, nothing fixed, nothing concrete, nothing stable in literary theory. Literary theory is always deconstructive. It is not fixed. It is not concrete. The ideas, the notions, the aspects which is stated by someone today, it will not be continued as it is tomorrow. They will change in course of time. Now, as I have said at the beginning of my presentation that I am going to analyze, I am going to tell you certain things, certain parameters on the basis of that you can understand, comprehend a literary theory. So just I am using here the example of Marxism for on the basis of only example, because let me tell you that talking about all the literary theories in one lecture is not only the injustice with the literary theory, with the injustice with everything, because it is such a huge and wide topic that cannot be covered in a 1 hour. But still, I am trying to explain you some of the parameters, some of the methods, some of the aspects. On the basis of that, you can try to comprehend a literary theory from the perspective of your examination. Whenever you study, whenever you try to comprehend any literary theory, keep in your mind that you should focus, you should think about, you should study the origin of literary theory, where the literary theory is originated, who is the originator of literary theory, or we can call it as how the theory is emerged, or how the theory has emerged, who has helped, who has contributed immensely in the emergence of literary theory. That is always significant to know while understanding or comprehending any literary theory. The next point in the judgment or in the comprehension of literary theory is that try to know, try to understand the historical social background of contemporary time. When the theory was came out, when the theory was rose out, you should know that what was the social historical condition of that time, because in every age social historical background or the condition helps or creates a lot of influences on the creation of any genre. It may be a poetry, drama, fiction, novel, or literary theory. Remember that what were the aspects, what were the contemporary social and historical aspects responsible for the rise of literary theory. You can apply this notion to any literary theory. You can apply this notion to Marxism. You can apply this notion to feminism. You can apply this notion to psychoanalytical theory. You can apply this notion to reader response theory. You can apply this notion to any literary theory that you are going to understand or comprehend. Further, if we look towards the rise of Marxism, we know that Marxism was emerged in the writings of two German philosophers, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The time when the Marxism was emerged was absolutely the time of industrial revolution. Industrialization was there, and because of industrialization, the social were there, and there were French also. That revolution has also created a lot of impact, influences, provided to take the growth, the rise of Marxism. There were the issues of labor, there are issues of exploitation. It's because of these circumstances, Marxism theory took the birth. If you look towards the theory of feminism, it took rise around 1950, 1960. 1950 and 1960 is a time of a liberation movement. Most of the countries were free from the colonialism. There were great philosophers and persons, and there were great intellectual discussion throughout the world. People were freely talking about the knowledge. People were free to share their thoughts, their ideas, their opinions, their views. And on the basis of that, the result of liberation movement, feminism took birth. If you go to look towards the new historicism, if you go to look towards the psychological theory of Sigmund Freud, Julia Kristeva and others, whenever you understand any literary theory, whenever you comprehend any literary theory, the first thing you should keep in your mind that try to understand the origin or the emergence of the literary theory. After understanding the origin, the emergence of literary theory, further focus on what is or what were the social, cultural, economical background of that time, which were clearly responsible for the rise of a literary theory. So keep in mind, whenever you understand any literary theory, first begin from this perspective or from this point. The next is what is growth and development of literary theory. Let me tell you, it is true that when any ideology, when any theory after its birth, if it is not progress, if it is not developed, then there are very less chances, very few chances that the theory will die or the things will die very soon, or they will lose its existence very soon. If the things want to create the existence for longer time, they should know that they should progress, they should grow up, they should relevant, and they should update from time to time as per the need and demand of the time. If you are not updating yourself with the need of the time, if you are not going to provide the demand of the time, you are going to lose your existence. That has happened with lots of theories, lots of cultures, lots of languages, various things. So if we talk about the Marxism is a theory that has prominently developed in 4 phases. The early phase of Marxism, which was dominated by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The next phase of Marxism, that may be around from 1920 to around 1950, which was dominated by Christopher Caldwell, Alec West. The concept of mass art and class art. The 2 world wars were also played a vital role in the second phase of Marxism, as well as the great economic depression of 1929 was also played a crucial role in the growth and development of Marxism. So when you understanding that when you are studying, when you are comprehending any literary theory, that time try to analyze, try to make the phases of development of literary theory, because most of the theories for your information were around 1960. All the philosophical theories took their birth around 1960 or after 1960. But as we are taking, for example, Marxism is one of the oldest and the having wider scope and wider span as compared to all literary theories, because all literary theories are recent phenomena. They were born mostly after 1950 and 1960. So while we are understanding the Marxism, that we know that we study about the first phase and the development, we study about the second phase and the development, we study about the third phase and the development, we also study about the fourth phase, that is the contemporary time, where the Marxism is still existing in our society in various forms. The forms may be changed, but the Marxism remains the same. Forms are only changing, bases remain the same. So this is the second point, that whenever you understand any literary theory, after knowing the growth, after knowing the origin, emergence of any literary theory, try to learn, try to mark, try to understand that how the theory is progresses, how the theory is developed. That is crucial point while understanding any literary theory from exam perspective or from the sense of literary theory. Every literary theory you can apply, you can talk about any literary theory. These theories always covered with certain critical schools, some critical thoughts, and some critical theories. If we talk about deconstruction, we definitely talk about Jacques Derrida. We definitely talk about Paul Deman. We definitely talk about Harold Bloom. We definitely talk about Johns Hopkins University. We definitely talk about Barbara Johnson's. When we talk about structuralism, we definitely talk about Ferdinand de Saussure. We talk about Noam Chomsky. We talk about Claude Lévi-Strauss. We talk about science structure play of the discourse. We talk about Geneva School. When we study about Marxism, we talk about Frankfurt School. We talk about Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. We talk about Christopher Caldwell. We talk about Louis Althusser. We talk about Thierry Macquarie. We talk about Lucien Goldman. We talk about Raymond Williams. Because every literary theory is a set of all the contributors who have contributed immensely in the growth and development of literary theories. Suppose any critical schools that were originated, the school provides a think tank. After providing the think tank, the theory changes in forms. It modifies itself, and after modifying, after developing, it runs for a long time. It runs for years. So whenever you understand any literary theory, try to understand that which critical schools are involved in the growth making the structural theory. Like just for example, I have told you, in Marxism, Frankfurt is also important, or certain other things are important. In structure, Geneva School is also important. In deconstruction, Yale School is important. In culture, Birmingham Center is also important. This exists in every literary theory, because every some school has played immense role to contribute and develop that literary theory. Frankfurt School, which was originated around 1920 in Germany, Theodor Adorno, Herbert Marcuse, these were the champions of the school. Marxism with Freudianism, the Freudianism of Sigmund Freud. After combining with the Freudianism, they accepted new and technological changes. And after accepting new and technological changes, there was the renovation in Marxist theory. Earlier, Marxist theory was only focusing on base, superstructure, class consciousness, materialism. But these notions were reinvented by Frankfurt School. And after invention of Frankfurt School, the change in norm of Marxism it is visible to us easily. Further, Every champion, every philosopher has his own contribution in the development of literary theory. You can take any literary theory. You can take feminism, you can take structuralism, you can take cultural studies, you can take multiculturalism, you can take eco-criticism or eco-theory, you can take techno-theory, you can talk about Marxism, you can talk about reader response theory. All these theories are developed by certain philosophers and their intellectual diverse ideological contribution, and it's because of their intellectual diverse ideological contribution the theory got recognition, theory got recognition and simplification as well as the judgment, as they have by certain
Sir, voice is
instances, by
breaking,
certain
sir.
examples.
Sir,
Hello?
Gulab sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. We are not audible properly, clearly.
Now, how it is?
Yeah, it's okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it's a network issue. After discussing about, okay. Now, how it is? Is it coming very well? Hello. Okay.
It's audible, sir.
Now,
It's
after
audible
discussing
right now.
Okay, I'll continue, sir. After discussing that, the role of important school literary theory, understanding literary theory, if we understand Marxism, then we have to take into consideration the contribution of Louis Althusser. If you want to study, if you want to understand Marxism, then we have to study the contribution Pierre Macquarie, Lucien Goldman, Raymond Williams, because all these philosophers and all thinkers have created a great impact and contribution as far as their affiliation to develop the ideology. Now, every literary theory is a mixture. Every literary theory is a composition of certain events. If you look, if you want to understand, if you want to comprehend any literary theory, that time try to get that what are the major events covered in that literary, in the span of that literary theory, that will help you to understand how these incidents and how these events are impacted the indoctrination of literary theory. If you want to comprehend, if you want to understand any literary theory, that time you have to understood that which are the major events, which are the social, cultural, philosophical, economical events that took place in the span of literary theory, and these events, these incidents has greatly created the influence in the indoctrination ideology of literary theory. Then only you can understand the real core, the heart of literary theory. Suppose when we talk about Marxism, we have to see that how the great economic depression has created impact on the world, because financial aspects are always crucial a human being is exist. Further, that these two great great economic depression that took place around 1929, which was greatly changed the life pattern of the people, and this event has created immensely the great impact in Marxism or any literary theory. The two world wars that span from 1940 to 1918, 1939 to 1945, these two world wars had changed not only the facet of theories but also the whole world. We know very well that if you look towards the history, the historical background, the historical aspect that has created after the incidents of two world wars, it was devastating. It was really devastating. Very radical things were took birth after these two world wars. Liberation movement, yes, ideology, thought, and writing always plays a vital role whenever you are living in any part of the world. If you are part of liberation, if you are part of a movement, that always plays a crucial role whenever you define or whenever you affiliate yourself to anything. And as we know that the world space, another world is born after what? After globalization. Globalization has given a birth to the world. The previous world where existed, it was greatly reinvented. everything, ideology, cloth pattern, life, thinking, living, everything was changed drastically by the impact of globalization. So, understanding any literary theory, try to understand that what are the major events covered in the span of your literary theory, that you will come to know your literary theory very well. The next point is theoretical terms. Let me tell you, this is the core, this is the heart of any literary theory. When we talk about any literary theory, we discuss, we analyze any literary theory in part of terms. We define structuralism in the part of sign, significance, base, poster, labor, reification. When we define feminism, we define feminism in gender, definition, ideology, sex, biology, phallus. When we talk about deconstruction, we study deconstruction in the terms of writing, difference, aporia, grammatology, traces, margins, center. So the theoretical terms, the theoretical base of any literary theory is the heart of any literary theory. Until and unless you learn, until and unless you understand the theoretical terms of any literary theory, my challenge to you that nobody will say that I have understood little bit about literary theory or I have comprehension any literary theory, because literary theory is always express, literary theory is always analyze, literary theory is always elaborate in theoretical terms. Suppose Derrida's contribution or anyone's contribution, any theory, the contribution is a theoretical contribution. The contribution, the rejection, the objections, the subjections or subjectivity, all these things as explained in theoretical terms. Until and unless you understand theoretical terms of any literary theory, you will not going to comprehend any literary theory. Now see your exam pattern. If you see your question papers, there are several questions you will come across that were asked on the basis of theoretical terms. What is mean by aporia? What is mean by structure? What is mean by sign? What is mean by base? What is mean by reification? What is mean by phallus? What is mean by gender? What is mean by reader? What is mean by response? What is mean by gaze? What is mean by ego? What is mean by sub-ego? What is mean by dream? What is mean by conscious, unconscious? Plenty of things, including all the theoretical terms of any literary theory. So keep in mind, while understanding any literary theory, you should focus more on the theoretical base, the theoretical terms of any literary theory. Until and unless you will learn what are mean by these theoretical terms, you will not going to understand any literary theory. And beyond that, if one says I am the master of literary theory, actually he is not going to tell about his own self, because he is contradicting his own self by saying himself or herself as a master of literary theory. The next slide is about limitation. Next slide is about limitation. Let me tell you, whenever we understand any literary theory, whenever we understand or whenever we judge, not judge, but whenever we observe, whenever we analyze any literary genre, whenever we try to elaborate any literary genre, that time every person, every reader, every student should keep in mind his limits as well as the limits of the text also. Similarly, when you are understanding, when you are comprehending any literary theory, that time keep in your mind that literary theory has certain limitations. Nobody can say that literary theory is everything. Yes, literary theory is something. It is one of the integral part of the examination of analyzing a literary text. Yes, it is one of the philosophical inquiry. It has changed the dimension of literary literary canvas after 1960. Yes, there was an intellectual crisis, intellectual discussions, debates on literary theories. There were some schools on literary theories and criticism. But let me tell you, without knowing the limitation of anything, nobody can say in the life that I am going to do it. When you understand any literary theory, when you analyze any literary theory, when you elaborate any literary theory, that time, keep in mind that you should know the limitations of your theories. The first thing, always keep in your mind that literary theory is not everything. It is not universal. It is not everything. It is not covering everything. It is not your life. It is just a genre. It is just a matter of inquiry. It is just a method of studying the nature of literature. So, while understanding the limitations of any literary theory, you should be more objective. That I must not that I'm a big fan of Jacques Derrida. I must not say that I'm the big fan of Jacques Lacan. I must not say that I'm a big fan of Sigmund Freud. I must not say that I'm a big fan of Karl Marx. I must not say that I'm a big fan of Julia Kristeva. Yes, you may like, you may appreciate, you may appeal the writings, the philosophical thinking, the philosophical ideology expounded by these philosophers. Yes, that's true. You can appeal it, you can appreciate it, you can like it, but you cannot say that I am completely addicted to that person, because every person, every theory, every ideology consists several limitations, and that limitation should be keep in mind whenever you analyze, elaborate any literary theory or anything, any perspective in your life. This is true in literary, in the perspective of literary theory also. We are understanding while we are judging the literary theory that we should be objective. We should not have prejudiced views. I must not say that I like only data and I will not going to look about Sigmund Freud. I must not say that I'm a big fan of Karen Harney and I'm not going to look at any contribution by of Homike Bhabha. I will also, I'm not going to say that I like the contribution of Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak, like the contribution of Franz Fanon, but I'm not going to study, I'm not going to analyze any contribution from reader response theory's perspective. I'm not going to understand what is the contribution of Wolfgang Iser, what is the contribution of Edmund Husserl, what is the contribution of David Bleach. I'm not going to say that I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of feminist theory. I know feminist theory, I love feminist theory, I appreciate feminist theory, but beyond that, I'm not going to study any post-colonial theory. I'm not going to analyze, understand any other theories in that perspective. Interest may be there, interest decide, interest create, or interest plays vital roles. I know very well, but whenever you comprehend any literary theory, whenever you analyze any literary theory, that time you should be objective. You should be transparent. You should not have a prejudiced view. You should use scientific ways, scientific methods, scientific references that cannot be only fictitious or imaginative, because you should have to explain everything within the context of your references. Further, don't get addicted to any literary theory, and whenever you comprehend any literary theory, whenever you apply any literary theory, be practical. Be practical, because practical approach is always best, not better, it's always best, because things may be different, ideas may be different, but facts are always facts, they never changes. So let me conclude my presentation that I just mug up all the points, I will refresh all the points. What are the important points or aspects of parameters that we should keep in mind while understanding any literary theory from the perspective of examination? First thing, we are going to learn that where the theory is originated, or what is the origin of our literary theory. After understanding the origin of our literary, we are going to study the development, growth, or progress of any literary theory. Apply these parameters to any literary theory. Don't tell yourself only with Marxism. I have prepared this PPT for just understanding understanding of yours that you are going to understand this in terms of only Marxism, because it is impossible to cover all the literary theories in one lecture and to discuss with you all the literary theories. But just for your understanding, I am giving here the example of Marxism. Don't get confused. Apply these notions to all literary theories. That is my suggestions. So after knowing the development, what is the relevance? Relevance is absolutely an important task in your process of literary theory. If your literary theory having no relevance, then you elaborate, when you explain, when you try to relevant your theory, that is the theory has existence. After that, who are the major theorists who has contributed in the growth, development and progress of the literary theory? And I have also shown some examples in my which are the books that has created immense impact in your literary theory. Suppose you are going to study in Marxism, we will definitely see the contribution of Lucien Goldman, Louis Althusser. That time we are also going to learn that what are the texts or which are the books which has created a divergent, the differentiation in the ways of thinking, the books which has created a lot of importance. Then what is the title of the book? Try to know that what is the title of the book. After knowing the title of the book, try to know what is subtitle of the book, because these are the exam perspective. In NET exam, this kind of question, and this is the format of asking the question frequently. After knowing the books, after knowing the title of the book, try to know that what is the subtitle of the book. After knowing the subtitle of the book, you should know that what is the year of publication. After knowing the title or subtitle of the book, you should know that what is the year of publication. After knowing the year of publication, what are the theoretical terms involved in that literary theory? Just the theory, the example just I have given. If you are looking structuralism, then what you are going to study. If you are looking Marxism, then what you are going to study. If you are going to study reconstruction, then what you are going to study. Similarly, theoretical terms are always crucial whenever you understand, elaborate any literary theory. Then try to understand the exact meaning of the words and terms in literary theory. In exam, they are not going to ask you to apply the literary theory. In exam, they are not going to ask you to do the research on literary theory. In exam, they are not going to ask you that apply Marxism to literary text, apply structuralism to literary text, apply deconstruction to literary text, apply feminism to literary text. In the examination, they will ask you what is the exact meaning of aporia. In the exam, they will ask you what is the exact meaning of structure. In the examination, they will ask you what is the exact meaning of gender. In the examination, they will ask you what is the exact meaning of hegemony. In the examination, they will ask what is the exact meaning of postmodernism. So try to learn the exact data, exact form, exact meaning, exact affiliation of that term. After that, who are the practitioners or who are the theorists that has practiced the literary theories, and after their practice or their practice has created and the practice has made the theory is substantial or something important. When we study deconstruction, nobody can ignore the contribution of Jacques Derrida. When we study structuralism, nobody can ignore the contribution of Noam Chomsky. When we study structuralism, nobody can ignore the contribution of René Saussure. When feminism, nobody can ignore the contribution of Wollstonecraft. When we study feminism, nobody can ignore the contribution of Mary Shelley. Nobody can ignore the contribution of Julia Kristeva, Virginia Woolf. Like that, try to learn that who are the practitioners of theory, who has practiced the theory in their texts also, in their literary corpus also. Then only you will try to understand or locate exactness. Then what is the phases of development? Literary theory is not static. It develops in course of time. Suppose when we talk about any literary theory, remember that literary theory doesn't stay at one place and it is said that it is eternal. No, if the literary theory has to establish itself as a universal, as an appealing method, as an appealing ideology, appealing approach, then it should have to undergone some ups and downs, some intellectual discussion, intellectual debates, intellectual criticisms. Then only literary theory can establish itself as a phenomenon. The next is critical school or thought. As I told you, every literary theory is grounded. Every literary theory is covered by certain critical schools. These critical schools has not only nourished, not only shaped the dimensions of the literary theories, but they have provided a new outlook and dimension to the literary theories. These critical schools and the contribution of these critics have provided a numerous and profounding impact and influences in the future growth, progress, and development of any literary theory. So try to learn from this perspective also when commencing any literary theory. Last not the least, that is the limitation. Always remember that when you are understanding any literary theory, when you are going to judge any literary theory, your focus should be on the point that any literary theory should be existing without the limits. So while understanding, while specifying the limitation theory, try to understand that this should be more practical, you should be more scientific, you should be more objective, and you should just locate the relevance of literary theory, and then only you can understand or comprehend literary theory. So that's it. This is all from my side. That this is the things I would like to share with you, and I have tried myself best in that short time. I must say sorry that because of lack of time I have run my bike very fastly, but I hope you can understand my problem also. Over to Sami sir.
Well, thank you, sir. Now I request all the participants to ask questions, and I request our host Aziz Ahmed sir to unmute all participants so that they can ask questions. Sir, it was a very good presentation, and you have actually given us a framework of study, and this will be very beneficial while preparing for the studies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Basavaraj sir has said that in his chat he has written that your talk is effective, but will you please divide? Will you tell us about the marks, about the weightage that literary theory carries in NET/SET exams?
Okay. Shall I?
Yes, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, so much for raising this question, sir. When we see the previous question papers of any NET exam, that there are some questions. Definitely, every time they have asked questions on literary theory, but I'm not going to say that surely that they only ask questions on Marxism or feminism or literary theories. But at least if you just open the previous question papers, you will at least get 5 questions on literary theory. If you open any question paper belong to previous exam, you will get that at least 5 questions were asked every time in each exam on literary theories, but not exactly. They may be in different perspective from different angles. But this is the importance of literary theory in that examination, and this is not only applicable to third paper only, but in second paper also they did the same thing.
There is one comment by Ahmed Saab who appreciates your presentation, and Jyoti Mohanty wants to know the names of books to refer for NET/SET.
There are thousands of books available in the market on literary theory. Let me tell you very freely and frankly. Some says that I like the book of Peter Barry. Some students says that I like the book of Roman Sheldon. Some students say I like the book of T.K. Nair. Some students say I like the book of Hans Bertans. Some students say I like the book of N. Krishnaswamy. Some students say I like book of some. See, literary theory is defined by all these authors from their own perspective and their own understanding. Remember, every writer has his own narratology, his own skill to understand, elaborate, describe the points of literary theories. But you should choose which are covering all literary theories, starting from Marxism, from new criticism and formalism, Russian formalism and American formalism, to the present. But if you go to market, if you go to internet, and if you search all the books. You will not get all the literary theories compiled in a single book. In some book, you will find that some authors have covered only philosophical theories. Some authors has covered only structural theories. Some authors have covered only traditional theories, and they forgot about the new theories like new reader response, new historicism, post-colonialism, techno-theory, eco-criticism, multiculturalism, and culturalism. So try to get Peter Barry's book is absolutely a best book as far as the beginner of literary theory is concerned. Try to read the book of Raman Sheldon also. It is also a very good book. Try to run the book of Hans Burton, Understanding Literary Theory, Basics is the book that is covering the post-structural theories. Try to read the book of John Simmons, saying that Contemporary Critical Theories. That is also a very good book that covers the recent critical theories, including Jacques Lacan, Edward Said, Homi Bhabha, and such like authors.
The question you have already answered. It was about which is the book very effective and easy words. So for the beginners, you have suggested Peter Barry's book.
Peter Barry. The book of Peter Barry is a very good book as far as the beginner is concerned. So let me tell you one more point, Sami sir. Don't get confused that the way you understand novel, the way you understand fiction, the way you understand drama, the way you understand poetry, because literary theory has its own script. The notions of literary theories cannot be defined in a simple terms, in simple way, because literary theory is a philosophical grounding. It has a philosophical profound. So whenever you understand literary theory, try to understand from that philosophical perspective, from that philosophical background, because you are not going to understand Westland from the perspective of the literary theory. You are not going to understand Four Quadrant from the perspective of literary theory. You understood the John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress in different perspectives. Literary theory has its own manuscript, because as I tell you, what is literary theory? Literary theory is a method of inquiry of diverse intellectual or dynamic intellectuals. So remember these words. I know any book, you can take any book, all the books of literary theory conveys the same language that is always difficult to understand for beginners. But repetition, trying to knowing the sense of any literary theory will get you the points I have explained in this presentation, in this lecture. Try to work on these points. Absolutely, I'm sure you will going to understand, you are going to comprehend, or ensure your level or raise your level high.
Sir, I agree with Avinash Pawar, who has appreciated your energy and interest. And there was some problem due to the network, but you have overcome it through your PPT and through your voice. Ruhi Zafar and Ahmed have once again appreciated your presentation. Like Ajay sir, I would request you. Jyoti Mohanty has one more question before I request. She says, are there any tricks, how to solve questions so that we can have more time for passage?
Okay, no problem. There is a simple trick that when you get a question in the examination paper, you will get 4 options, A, B, C, D. The one thing you can do that just try to know that the 4 options, either these 4 options are relevant to that your theory or not. If the question is on Marxism and the 4 options, out of their 4 options, 2 are having about Marxism and 2 are about structuralism. Ignore 2 aspects immediately. Remove the 2 options immediately, and then by the name of God you can do anything.
Okay, so the easy thing is to know what is not relevant first and remove that and focus on the relevant.
First thing that just remove that which are not relevant to your questions, because if the question is on structuralism, then feminist theory or other things will not be relevant to that question or that point. Just remove these 2 options, then try to focus on remaining 2 options, that which option is more relevant, more close, and beyond that I can't say anymore.
Right. Well, thank you, sir. So I was telling you that if you don't mind, I request you to share your PPT in the group so that it will be in the
Yeah,
open
yes, I will
resource.
share on your personal WhatsApp, sir.
I will
Sure,
forward
sure.
it. Okay. I
No
have all.
problem, sir. No problem.
Okay.
I
Right.
am really thankful, Sami sir. I am really thankful for you for providing me such a wonderful opportunity on such a crucial topic at my very early age,
No, no.
that I can reach, that people can listen to me.
No, no, you deserve it, sir, and you have proved it. The comments of the participants are a witness to that. Satyam
Thank
sir
you, thank you.
has also appreciated your session as a very excellent session.
Thank
Well,
you, sir.
dear participants, this was from our side today, and thanks to technology, we could sitting in our homes, we could meet you, we could talk to you, and for the next 2 days also, we will be in touch through WhatsApp group. Uh, what I could see is there are 35 participants who have paid and registered, but only 27 joined today, and some of them left. I don't know for what reasons. Maybe network or other technical issues might be there. So I request all the participants to remain present, to be attentive, to pose questions, to get the doubts clarified, uh, and we, and by 4 o'clock, I'll share the Google Forms or quiz, 10 questions on what Dr. Ajay Deshmukh presented, and 10 questions on what Mr. Gulab Sheikh has presented. That way, it will become workshop. Otherwise, it will be a lecture series, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
I earnestly request all of you to answer the questions that will help you know some of the aspects of that will give you some practice as well in doing for NET. So thank you for joining us. And okay, I have missed fiction part of Dr. Ajay. Okay, Mohanty ma'am, I have shared the PPT in WhatsApp group. If you so, I think you can get it from there. Because uploading the whole video will take a lots of time, and it will not be so easily possible, right? So we are looking for uploading these videos on some YouTube channel. If we could do that, I'll share the link as well, right? But that's not a promise, because I have to consult Aziz Saab, who is looking after all the technical side of it, because we, the teachers, it's you are experiencing this. We are new to this mode of teaching, right? We are habituated to classroom sessions, and we are struggling with it, and so that's not a promise, but I'll try for that. Okay. Well, all dear participants, on this note, we began at 10:05, and we are closing it sharply at 12. So
Correct.
thanks a lot. Right? Thanks a lot. Bye. Stay home. Stay safe. Stay safe.
Thanks to all the dignitaries.
Thank
Given
you,
a
sir. Thank you.
wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ahmed sir, Basavaraj sir.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we'll meet tomorrow at 10. Thank you. Aziz sir, you may close the meeting.